Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ListenABLE, the podcast where we try and break the stigmas around people living with or affected by disability. Had some amazing feedback over the journey, and there is going to be a moment in this upcoming podcast that I can't even tell you how excited I am for. For those who have listened to previous podcasts, you'll get the joke.
Oh, I know what's coming.
But there is something coming, and I cannot wait for it.
100%.
Let's let our next guest introduce themselves.
My name is Nathan Borg, and I'm an Australian actor, and I have a disability.
What's your disability?
Good question. I am hard of hearing, or you can say I am deaf.
Cool. Now, we'll get into your disability and stuff soon. But you said you're an actor. What are you acting on at the moment?
I'm on Neighbours.
He's on Neighbours, baby!
He's on Neighbours. Now,
I might as well get
Nathan.
it out of the way. Oh,
Yes,
do you want me to say
the
it?
longest
Hang on.
running
Nathan.
soap opera
Hang on,
in
wait.
Australia.
Really?
it is.
Can we just get a quick poll?
No, don't take this away from me, bro. Do not take this away from me. So, Nathan,
Yes.
Dylan is no bigger fan of Dylan Alcott than himself. He
Please,
constantly likes to remind me, put your hand up if you've got over 100,000 Instagram followers. Put your hand up if you've spoken to the Royals. But for the first time, I can finally say this. Put your hand up if you've been on Neighbours.
Oh my God, you've been on Neighbours as well!
You haven't been on Neighbours?
Yeah, I have.
What?
I've been on Neighbours.
Oh,
Really?
for fuck's sake!
Yeah, I have. That's it. I told Liam.
That was my thing!
Oh my God, I thought it was so
Angus.
good.
That was my moment! You've been on Neighbours?
Yeah. I taught Liam Hemsworth how to play wheelchair basketball.
Oh, and it's a better story than me hanging out with Stingray.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
God damn it! Sorry, Nathan.
Oh, that's
This was going to
okay.
be a beautiful connection for us.
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry, Nathan. This was my one moment to interact
Yes.
with a
Aw.
guest and be similar.
Have you won anything before?
Uh, look, one? No.
That's okay. You will one day.
Okay.
Nate's coming in with the
Liam
Oh,
Hemsworth as well?
I'll tell you the story. I want to hear
I don't
yours.
want to hear the story. It's not you. Who cares about you? You know what? Nathan, congratulations
Thank you.
on getting the role in Neighbours. How long have you been on Australia's longest running soap opera?
It's about, I think, 5 months now, so
Okay.
I'm only fresh there.
But how far ahead are you?
Like, how far?
Yeah, we are 3 months ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I started in October
On air or filming?
filming,
Okay.
and then I came out on air in end of January, and it's so funny because the storylines I see now is what we filmed last year
Yeah.
during COVID, and I'm so ahead of my storyline now. So it's funny to see it on TV.
Do you find it funny, or sorry, do you find it difficult when people ask about your role and you have to remember what they've seen versus what they haven't?
Good question.
You're like, oh, what about when I have this conversation with Harold at the tuck shop? And they're like, I don't remember that conversation. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's coming out
Can
in
you
April.
believe that Lassiter's blew up? And like,
Yeah.
oh, when was it? That happened 10 years ago.
I can, 'cause
And
that was
again.
in the
Yeah, but it happens
2000s.
every 3 years.
Do you find that tough?
Yes, I do, because I have to be very careful
Mm.
what I say. But yeah, that's a very difficult part.
Is your character in the show?
We haven't even spoken what his disability is yet.
Yeah, he said it.
That's
Oh, we
okay.
did.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did.
Is your character in the show hard of hearing and deaf as well?
Yes.
Okay, so they built the character around that, which is cool. I don't know. I'm trying to think right now.
Yeah.
Is there any actors in Australia with a cochlear implant or who are
No.
No.
So, that's why I approached to
Yeah.
Neighbours about this character and storyline, and I just believed that we needed that and needed a change for the industry as well, and push for diversity as well.
How do you go about emailing Neighbours and going, "Hey Neighbours, I'm your guy. Write me into the show." Tell me how that happens.
So I called and I was very nervous. I literally was like, "Oh, I'm an actor," and they're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, I have a storyline for you," and they're like, "Oh, cool." And then I started talking to the producers about the storyline and that kind of thing, and then yeah, we worked on it for a year. So it was
Oh, before it happened.
we worked on it for a year. So I had to keep it a secret for
Yeah.
a year because I knew about it, and the audition, when I did the audition, it was interesting because usually when you do an audition, it's for a character, but I didn't have a character. I had to come in as myself. So
To prove you could act.
Here's two things
Yeah.
I need to know
Yeah.
about this process. One,
Yeah.
did they find out you could act before committing to the year-long storyline? Because wouldn't it be shocking if you made this incredible storyline, everyone's
Yeah.
pumped on it, and then you go, "Hey, everybody, it's me."
Nate.
You know?
Well, I did audition for Neighbours back in 2018.
Oh,
Okay.
for an
So the
able-bodied role?
producers kind of had a
They knew who you were.
Yeah.
For an able-bodied role, for a non-deaf part
Yeah.
when you auditioned?
The first time in
no, the
2018.
audition was actually just an open audition.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they were just looking for talent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. At the time. Yeah.
Second part question to the audition process is, once you've written in that storyline,
Mhm.
how much did they allow you to dictate how your story came out? Because there's always a conversation in the disability community about able-bodied people telling disability the sector how to operate things.
Or
Did they follow your lead and then help out with dialogue? How did it happen?
Well, I didn't have the say of how the character was going to be or the storyline, but I do have the say of what's going to happen with my character if there's something around his deafness and around his cochlear implant. So like if I get the script and I'll read the lines and I will make sure that it's appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We like that.
Especially inclusive terminology and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And but at the end of the day, we always try to show that Curtis, with his disability, that he can work as hard as anyone else at the school as well. Yeah.
Like that.
I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before the role then, so you wanted to do acting as it is. Have you studied acting, or what was your, I guess, lead up to getting this role in terms of your career?
Yeah. So I did lots of like just training beforehand for about 6 to 7 years. And I just did like short films and like courses and stuff like that. But it's funny, before that, I wanted to be a zookeeper.
Really?
Yeah. And it was funny. I did my work experience at Werribee Zoo and we had to touch lizards and clean up poo. And I didn't like that at all.
Which part, the lizards or the poo?
Both.
Okay, nice.
They're both bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the glorified idea of what a zookeeper is.
Yes.
You know, playing with the rhinos, you know,
Yeah.
with the giraffes, feeding them the carrots.
Yes.
And all of a
I
sudden
know.
it's like, clean up what made the giraffes the poo. You're like,
Literally.
oh, no thank
You
you.
don't look
Yeah.
very Joe Exotic-ish either. I
No,
must say.
no. So I then decided to try acting, and that's when I figured that, you know, acting can be a career. So that's when I went into it.
It must have been a conversation that you had with friends and family about whether it really was a career path, though, right? With your disability,
Yeah.
being hard of hearing, deaf, for anybody with that disability,
Yeah.
did you get told immediately when you told people, I want to be an actor, was the first thing they said is, here's the roadblocks? Or were people straight away going, this is going to be something that you can pursue? Like, what were those conversations?
Well, family and friends were obviously supportive, but and then some, you know, courses and stuff like that. Some professionals were quite supportive, but I had some professionals that weren't supportive at all. For example, I got kicked out of a full-time acting course because of my disability, which was hard.
Well, wind it back. Why? What did they say to you?
So it's interesting. I did the first year there. Then I went to do my second year and I was in class and the acting coach was like, oh, I need to talk to you outside. And I thought that was a bit strange. And she sat me down and she was like, is this what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, of course. And she was like, well, you have a disability, you're deaf, there's no diversity on Australian screens. It's not going to work for you. You've got to have a different career. And I didn't have the choice to come back. And it was really hard because I had to go back into class to pack up my stuff. And she told everyone that I chose that choice, which I didn't.
Was this in the 1970s? When was this?
So I was 18. So what's that?
I mean,
18.
you look like you're 18, so was it last month?
2018.
2018.
Wow.
18, 19, 20.
That makes my blood
Yeah,
boil.
2018. Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore,
But
does
that
it?
person thought that they were being
Yeah.
helpful to you. to stop
She
you
just-
dead in your tracks because this isn't going to be a viable opportunity for you.
Yeah.
They
and-
weren't probably being malicious, right? They thought they were doing what's best for you. Once again, an able-bodied person dictating that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I couldn't at the time stand up for myself. I was pretty shocked, to be honest, at that point that happened.
Yeah.
Did you send her a postcard of you on Ramsey Street flipping her the bird?
No, I haven't.
You should.
What's that 6x9? Is that what they call it in the business? Like the headshot? Just
Yeah.
The
a
headshots.
signed one?
Sign one.
Send it through and put them on your alumni board.
Oh,
Yeah.
So good.
See you later.
Yes.
So going back to your disability,
Mhm.
not acting, you have a cochlear implant.
Yeah.
Does and I know you might not be able to speak on behalf of everyone. I'm asking for the physiology side of things.
Yeah.
Does everybody who's hard of hearing or deaf have an option of using a cochlear implant, or for some people is there just no hearing, so there's no point? What was your hearing and when did you decide to get the implant?
Yeah. So, not everyone's eligible
Okay.
to get a cochlear implant. It's just a medical thing. But-
Eligible meaning having the science, not the funding or the demographic.
Just the implant and like
Yeah,
health
eligible to-
reasons. and
health
all that.
reasons,
Yeah,
yeah,
health
just
reasons.
making sure.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, health reasons. Yeah. Look, yeah, everyone in deaf community is different if they agree with it or not. But I got it when I was 2 years old with the cochlear implant.
Right.
We'll play in that space about the deaf community later because I know
Mhm.
it's an interesting community to navigate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're smiling when you say that. Excited.
I've watched Deaf U. Whoa.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even
Yeah.
like just even
I'm pretty sure Niall DeMarco produced that.
yeah. He's
right.
he's a model who's deaf who is
Yes.
unbelievably good looking. I must say this dude.
Yeah.
He's millions of followers. He made up that show. But
Yes.
before we get to that, how do if you know,
Yeah.
when do you get diagnosed with deafness or hard of hearing? Like how does your
Oh.
family figure it out as a youngster?
Okay, so
Because you can't say back, can't you?
no,
You know?
yeah. All right, so I was sick as a baby. So I was 6 weeks premature.
Okay.
And I was just almost 2 kilos. So I was quite tiny.
Tiny.
Yeah, I was
Angus
very
just
tiny.
became a dad, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
congratulations.
living in the world.
How heavy
Yes,
was-
congratulations.
Thank you. Indy was 3.06 kilos, so
Okay.
6.7 pounds.
That's
And she
okay.
was a petite baby.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, okay,
33%
yep.
bigger than
Mm.
Nath. That's
And
right.
she
Wow.
was, she's quite small.
Yeah.
On the other side, my sister had an absolute whopper.
Whopper.
Maver. She's 5 kilos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, had to C-section that baby out.
Yeah.
Jesus!
I was 9.5 pounds, poor mum.
Oh,
Had a big
wow.
fat tumour hanging off
Oh,
her back,
no.
but you know,
Yeah.
Oh,
didn't help.
yeah.
What undo?
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, mum.
Yeah.
But do you-
Shout out to my mum's body.
But going back on that,
Mhm.
little Lindy Rose had a hearing test at 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you know that that's what happens? So this lady
Yeah.
came in, the
Yeah.
pediatrician, the baby doctor,
Yes.
and she came in with 2 little tests that she put on her temples.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't hear it because it must be some sort of like ultrasonic hearing.
Like
or
a dog.
Yeah, like a dog,
Like
I
a
guess,
dog
or
whistle.
some sort
Yeah.
of frequency. And she reacted to both of the sounds. Therefore, they knew that she had at that point, full hearing.
Oh, cool.
So, do you know if that was the process your parents went through to find out?
No, so kind of, but so when I was 3 months old, I actually contracted bacterial meningitis.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were born with hearing, they reckon?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was born with hearing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got bacterial meningitis, and because my immune system was quite low, so what happened was the doctors told my parents that the meningitis was gonna kill me, so they knew that to kill the meningitis, but this certain vaccine actually would give you a disability, and yeah, so it's full on. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
they
You don't
didn't
know
know-
what disability?
Is it
or
a
you-
roulette of disability? It's
Uh,
like, it could be MS, it could be an amputation, it could be hard of hearing.
Yeah. So
Sounds
yeah.
like a game show.
It was going to be blindness, deafness, or cerebral
No
palsy.
way, man. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
God,
my
the-
parents.
The anti-vaxxers are going to have a field day with this podcast, man.
Mm,
They'll be like, here we go.
Stuff them. We don't like you
Yeah.
anyway.
Polio's next.
Well, it's death or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it saves your life.
yeah. So
Also, a chance you
What?
could not have a disability as well? Or is it guaranteed one of them?
guaranteed. Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. Yeah. So my parents knew that I was going to develop a disability just before I turned 1 year old.
Yep.
So they noticed that I wasn't reacting at all. And then, so that's when they figured they got a hearing test done and all that kind of stuff. And then that's where it was confirmed that I was deaf.
So why did they choose to give you a cochlear ear implant? Talk us through that process.
And then can you also talk through what it is? Because
Yeah.
I can see the physical aspect on the side of your head.
Yeah.
But can you talk through both?
Correct, yeah, because people might not know what it is as well.
What it is, yeah. So, well, before they were going to choose for me to have a cochlear implant, mum and dad and my sisters had to learn to do Auslan.
Yep.
And then
Can you Auslan now?
I'm not
sign?
fluent. I'm
Okay.
not fluent, but I done some courses and stuff of it. I just know like how are you, thank you,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff.
For people who don't know, we're talking sign language
Oh,
essentially.
yeah, it's the
Sign language,
Australian
yes,
Australian's
Auslan.
language.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they were talked about the cochlear implant, and then it turned out I was eligible for it, and then they went ahead with that.
Okay, so what does it do? Wait, talk us through it.
Yeah,
The
so
tech.
it's a bionic ear, so it's a device, and so what it is, so at the hospital you get like mapped with sounds and stuff like that, and you do like all different types of tests, and then so it goes on your ear, and for example, when you both talk to me, it goes through the microphone, and it goes signal to the coil, and then it goes through your your ear shell.
Yeah.
So my ear hairs are dead. So the wires actually go through that, and then that signals through my brain
So the wires go into your ear or into your brain?
into the ear shell, into the ear.
And then that
Yeah.
vibrates around the sound and then into your brain.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Humans
Yeah.
are amazing.
That is so cool.
The fact that
Yeah.
Who
and
figures
just the
that
fact
out,
that
first
you're
and foremost?
Mm.
and your brain to be able to, with that slight delay, immediately be able to respond.
Yeah.
And Australians, we talk quick.
Yes.
As a people, it must be tough. I know I speak fast.
I mean, I dribble out of my mouth. It's just one.
Well,
Dulcet
how do you
tone.
understand this idiot? This guy, his
Oh,
voice
no.
is at a low octave of like 0. How do you understand what he's saying? Do you find me easier to understand than Dylan?
Of course.
No, you both are pretty good, I have to say.
Oh,
Okay.
You're buttering me up. We get captions done
Yes.
by
Steve.
captions done by Steve, who's a legend, and
Yeah.
he has to correct all the automated captions because mine are dribble.
Yeah.
Dribble.
It's all one. But that's Angus's big thing because he's like, my voice is perfect.
Well, my voice, I have a range. Dylan just, G'day guys, I went to the beach today and down at the beach I saw a dog and then I had lunch and guess what? I'm a tennis champion. It's Dylan Alcock. Good to meet you.
He's been on Neighbours, by the way.
Yeah. And I knew Liam Hemsworth on the set of Neighbours.
Oh.
All right, mate. So that's amazing that so it's what I see from the physical aspect, and I'm going to
Yes.
look actually because you've got headphones over, and we'll talk about that. I'm actually looking at your Instagram
Okay.
right
cool.
now, so I'm looking at a photo where you share
Yes.
your cochlear implant. So there is the mechanism itself that goes behind the ear directly and like
Yeah.
kind of hugs the curve of your ear.
Yeah.
What
So-
is that part doing?
So that's just a hold onto
Okay,
the
that's
ear.
a grip.
Yeah. There's a little machine at the top,
Yeah,
and that's
the coil or wire, like a USB wire, goes towards a little circle.
so like
Like
here.
you're showing us.
That's the machine.
Yeah, the very, very
inside.
top of your ear.
Looks like
yeah.
a normal hearing aid around the ear.
Yep.
Yeah, and then back here, this is actually the batteries.
Oh,
Oh, I was
Yeah.
going to ask about charging.
charging.
About to ask about that. So do you go
Yeah.
to bed and go, phone, yep, watch, charging, ear, charge?
No, it's just 2 batteries, and they last for 3 days. And then I just bought new batteries in.
That's a nightmare. Like double
Yeah.
A batteries. Well, not double
Kind
A.
of pretty much, yeah. Disposable.
Really?
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
no rechargeable version?
There
Double
is
A
recharge.
batteries.
Yeah, no, there is rechargeable.
I've got 3D batteries in there. Dylan.
You know, like it's like,
There is rechargeable batteries, but they only last about 10 hours a day. So
yeah, that's not a
it's
whole
more
day.
it's more effort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get government funding for the batteries? Batteries are expensive.
I do get government funding, but I don't get funding after I'm 26 years
Yeah,
old,
so
which is
stupid.
very disappointing.
Oh,
Yep.
you're not there yet.
Not there yet.
That's an NDIS question, I imagine, which we'll answer in a
Yes.
future episode
Yes.
when we have an expert on.
No, it would have been before. But anyway.
So at the top of your head, just
The
not the top
coil.
of your head, yeah. So
That
that's the
coil.
coil. That's
The
what you're
coil,
talking. So
yeah.
that's the microphone.
No.
No.
That's the magnet.
Okay. And so
A
what's that
magnet.
doing?
So, because there's a machine inside my head.
Right. So you've
So-
got behind the skin
Yeah.
on the skull or inside
That's
the
the
skull.
part that goes into the ear. That vibe. I get
The
it.
little,
Yeah.
yeah. So that goes into the ear shell.
So it
Right.
connects with the. So inside the skin is another machine which connects to the ear shell.
Yeah.
Ah. So it's in your head as well at all times.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't
So
know
there's
that.
you can't really tell, but there's a scar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's from
You've got about
surgery.
a 3-inch scar directly above your ear near the
Mhm.
hearing aid itself.
Yeah. Because back in the days they used to cut your whole
Yeah.
head. But
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
keyhole surgery these days potentially.
the what?
Could you, if you got it today, would they still need to do the scar thing, or is it?
No, it's behind the ear now. Yeah,
Ah.
it's different now because, like, you know what? These days,
Yeah.
technology
mate.
gets smaller, smarter.
Could you change, or if you wanted to?
No, because my, like my implant inside, I've had really good 90% hearing since I was 2 years old, so I don't need to change at all. It would be more just say if I had an accident
Okay.
and it broke, then I had to get a new one, but then it would be different.
You have to learn again.
sounds.
Different sound.
Yeah.
So going back to a question we actually asked off the air before, but we've
Yeah.
said save this question for on. We offered you, or Matt, our producer, offered you headphones, and in that
Mhm.
moment, as he handed you the
were
headphones, I
all
went,
intrigued.
"Oh
All of us.
God,
Yeah.
It was great.
what are we doing
We all
here?
stopped. We all went.
Are we
"Oh my God."
able-bodied idiots?"
Even I went. Oh, like,
Because
I
he's
don't know.
about to hand you what we call over-ear headphones, so not the ones that-
Overhead. Yeah.
Overhead.
Overhead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're the
People
ones.
don't know overheads like Beats by Dre or those
Yeah.
kind of
Yes,
headphones.
those ones.
Yeah.
So- And then you accepted them and put them on, so
Yeah.
it does help with your hearing. It doesn't.
Yeah. So overhead headphones are the best option. What's the other one? Earphones?
Earpods.
Earpods.
Oh, hey, I love AirPods personally.
Yeah,
so
no, that's
you
fair.
can't.
Probably sponsored.
I can't use it because I'm well.
I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sponsored, but if Apple wants to
Oh,
send us some
God.
product,
Good
we
luck.
love you.
They should
we
do.
love you at
They should
ListenABLE.
do overhead
I think they are.
headphones. Oh, are they?
Well, they own Beats as well.
Oh,
Apple
do they?
Apple
Beats,
owns
yeah.
Beats.
Really?
Yeah, they bought Beats.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fun fact.
So you
Oh.
can't wear earpods.
No,
Wha-
because
why not?
I'm profoundly deaf, so I don't hear any sound at all.
Unless it's outside and the implant gets the sound.
Yeah, only
Ah,
I only hear through the
the coil.
Yeah.
Get it?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And good describing
Well,
of it
hey,
as well.
I
Thank
feel
you,
so
thank
much
you.
more knowledge around this,
Mm.
Yeah.
more so than Googling. I obviously had to Google it. I'm like, God, this is confusing.
But I feel like talking to someone and being open with other people to talk about their disabilities is so much better.
Good on you,
Yeah.
Nate.
Yes,
Great.
I
killing it.
agree.
I've got so many questions that I need
Yes.
to ask you.
Go ahead.
We've already talked about captions.
Yes.
Do you prefer to have captions when watching the television to kind of like give your ears a break?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I need it 100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do need it.
Yeah, I need it 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So it was actually only just recently the cinemas have now, supplied captions, which I try to tend to go to
Yep.
as well.
Oh, the cinemas provide captions,
But not on the main
Yeah,
screen.
it's
Do you have
very
your own-
rare.
Do you have your own screen watching the captions, or it's on the main screen too?
On the main screen.
What? That's
Oh,
Yeah.
I know
that's
that.
fantastic.
Because yes, it used to be
You have
on
like
you,
an iPad.
yeah.
It's lame, and you
Well, they hand you an iPad
pretty
and you got to
much.
like look
Yeah,
down and
yeah.
up like this.
honestly, no. You just watch
You watch the movie on an
yeah,
iPad
it's like
in the cinema
yeah, it's like
with
you're
the
not even-
huge screen up there.
Yeah.
like you're not even there.
But
What?
Yeah.
I'd
but-
be the guy throwing popcorn going, turn your phone off! So they're now doing like select cinema screenings for movies for
Yeah.
people who want to and need the captions.
yeah, which is great.
What's the difference between hearing our voice in this conversation now versus TV volume?
See, it's different. It's funny because I live with my roommate and I will have the TV low because it's like enough. But for her, she's like, I can't even hear it.
Oh.
So it's different.
So
yeah.
if it's too loud, does that irritate your ear because of the system? It would.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Ah.
Even just motorbikes.
Motorbikes.
That's good. I was
Yeah.
going to say, how do you go at nightclubs? Have you ever stepped foot in a nightclub?
Yeah. I love it.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
turn the volume down?
Yeah.
Here we- Hey, you're saying it so casually. So you can turn. let's
Yeah,
say-
sorry, there's an app on my phone and I.
Imagine being disabled in the 80s. Like you and I can do so much stuff now.
Yeah, I know.
So you
Back
can.
then-
So if you're at a techno gig or whatever, you can turn it down if it's real big bass or whatever it is.
Yeah, just it's like just a
One
voice-
sound, yeah.
one sound thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you just bring it down. So what volume do you sit at?
Yeah. What do you,
Comfortably
At the
right
moment,
now.
it is on 6.
Okay.
Okay.
and there's 10.
And you're at a nightclub. What are you on?
I still leave at 6.
Because you
It's
love
actually
the
fun.
sound.
It's
You like
fun.
dancing. Yeah. I can
Yeah.
just- yeah.
But if you're going to
With the
see,
music.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
old Grandma Maver who speaks with a quiet voice, you might ramp it up to a 7 or something like that.
Do you know what? 6 is actually a really good level for me
You
for
found your
everything in
comfortability.
general, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
You seem comfortable about your disability now. I mean, you're an
Yeah.
actor, which I love, and maybe you aren't, and maybe you're acting. But
No.
talk us through growing up. Obviously, you have a non-physical disability that has a physical aspect of it because it sits outside your head, the implant, so you can see it.
Yeah.
How did you go coming to terms with the person that you were?
Well, it was interesting because in primary school, everyone, as kids, you all accept each other. But then when I got to high school, that was very difficult. I had good friends who were supportive, and then I had a lot of people who didn't accept me in that way.
What kind of stuff happened?
They would physically hurt me, and just a lot of names, like robot, dead ears, that kind of thing. So in high school, it was really hard for me to accept my disability because everyone, well, sorry, not everyone, but the bullies would always make me feel like it was not okay.
And these are formative years of development physically and emotionally and mentally. So it's such an important time of your life to develop skills and love yourself. Did you find it tough to come to terms with your own disability in those moments when people are, potentially, I'm asking the question, making you take steps back in your progress?
Yes, definitely in high school, for sure, yeah. But
Yeah.
once I finished high school, I started to, accept it, and I started to obviously love it and owned it. And because I think when you get out of high school, you start to become who you are and your own person. So yeah, that's when I started to really accept it.
It's amazing that when you look back after you finish high school to just think, wow, I was stuck in a bubble.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
nothing else mattered except for that moment. And then you just
Yes.
have to take one step out of the school grounds for the final time to go, oh, really none of it mattered? And there was
Yes.
so much outside support for anything. Doesn't matter if you've got a disability, but you're just
Yeah.
so in it in the moment in high school. It means everything to you
Yeah.
until it means nothing in one moment.
In that, yeah. And I had very supportive integration aides as well.
Oh, good.
As well.
I was going to ask about that. An integration aid. I had one at school. They helped
Yeah.
you, to get over your accessibility limitations at school. You
So
know what I mean?
a real person sitting with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every classroom.
So what I was about to ask, how did you learn? Because not all teachers are quick to update on skills. They go, I'm busy enough, and now I've got a kid who's deaf. This is a nightmare. So that's it. That's like with me. Oh, we've got to move classrooms? Oh, Dylan, I've already booked this one. I'm sorry. What do you want to do, walk? So what happened? Yeah, how did you get through that? What did you use?
Well, I don't explain it. Like I had FMs as well with the teacher, so I could listen to the teacher as well.
That's cool. So there's a little microphone at the front,
A
yeah,
hearing
yeah.
loop. A hearing
so-
loop?
essentially.
Yeah. So I would have one and like
Okay.
a little machine, and then the teacher would have one. So it's like a signal kind of thing. But I did rely a lot on the integration aid on a lot of like homework and all that kind of stuff. What I've missed, what I didn't hear.
If the other kids are, they're like, hey, Samantha, what's that answer? And Samantha would say, you can't hear that because Samantha's not mic'd up. You know what I mean?
No, it's because I can't hear out of my ears. I can only hear on the right side because of the cochlear implant, and I don't hear on the left
Oh
side.
my gosh. I
Yeah.
just, and I
Yeah.
know this is stupid. I thought
Yeah.
you had hearing in your left ear, even though I know you
No.
don't,
Yeah.
because your cochlear's only on the right.
Yeah.
Damn it. Guess what? Me too. That's dumb.
So standing,
I thought it would
if
go to
I'm,
both
That's
ears.
fine.
That's so true.
if I'm
Yeah.
standing, so the left side of your headphone right now is completely useless.
Yes. So if someone chopped my left ear off, it's okay. I don't use it.
I mean, it looks great though, so keep it.
Does
Oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've
Yeah.
got an answer coming from the left-hand side,
Mm,
we're getting zero, pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah. No, I won't hear. Like it's funny. Sometimes my friends accidentally talking, and I'm like,
Oh,
well, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, and
Okay.
they're fine, and then they'll go on this side to talk to me.
It's
Yeah.
nice when your friends do that. Like, even my my partner Chantel the other day, we
Yeah.
got home from dinner and she got out of the car and just walked inside. And I was like, oh, hey, baby, my chair's in the boot. And she's like, oh my God, I forgot. Like she just completely forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's nice when
I
people
guess
do
we're
that.
all humans at the
Yeah.
end of the
Of
day
course.
anyway.
No, but it's just normalization. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
no,
don't
true.
see your disability, which is cool.
Yeah.
You got out of school and were you just like, straight away? Did you have that thirst for your career in acting at school? Was something that happened at school that gave you that desire?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I did drama classes and stuff like that. So, but I didn't think of it as a career though. I just did it for fun. And then, yeah, so once it got to year 12, that's when, how they pressure you about your career.
Mm.
And then that's when,
Career counselors.
yes, those ones. Yeah, and then that's when I decided to do acting.
Funny we play in the career counsellor space. And whenever I met with a career counsellor, they had the look of death on their face, like ghost, like I don't know, right?
Yeah,
I feel bad for them. I actually want to do some work with the federal government and state governments around this, educating teachers and counsellors about being more normal around disability. Because I felt bad for them. They were sweating. Oh my God, what am I gonna, like? It was like the worst hour of their year.
Yeah.
Was it similar for you? Did you have help, support?
Well, like I said before, when I got kicked out of that school, that teacher did send me to a careers coordinator, and that went really horrible.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
You just get passed around. They think you're doing you a favor, and you go to the new person, and they're like, I got no idea as well. And you're like, cool. Well, I just got booted out of there. There's a lack of support, isn't there? Yeah.
It is, yes. Yep.
There's two. I mean, this is going to be a phrase that can be used, exactly as it's meant, and in a bit more of a terminology description. But how did you find your voice?
Yeah.
Because people who are hard of hearing or deaf have, this sort of stereotypical voice. Because you don't have that. But is that because you had your cochlear implant at 2? Do you know what your voice sounds like? Do you hear yourself back? How does that? Do you have to find a voice? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do hear myself. So when I got the cochlear implant, I couldn't speak at all. So I had to learn to speak, and I had a lot of speech training at the Royal and Eye Hospital, and I was there every week doing lots of training.
Because and I'm only going off Deaf U, which is a Netflix series about a deaf college.
Yeah.
But there is this thing around using your voice, not using your voice, using your true voice, being Auslan sign language.
We should need to play in that space because there is full angst and if you have a cochlear ear, you're wrong, and if you sign, you're wrong. Are you involved in that kind of chat? Like, do you know much about it?
Look, it's hard. It's a hard topic because everyone in the deaf community are different. Some communicate through Auslan only or speech only, or they do both. So everyone has a different experience in that part.
There's this weird dynamic between the two, though, that doesn't coexist. Because there's somebody who believes, going from just once again one documentary that I've seen, but obviously it's true, which is that people believe that your voice is using sign language, and that's the true form of being deaf. And it's kind of like this.
Yeah,
they portray it as a hierarchy.
It's like judgmental.
Yeah, and like using your voice is seen as dirty, and like, oh, like you want to use your voice? No, we're special and we're different. Did you struggle with the deaf community about that aspect of things?
Is it real,
No.
first and foremost?
Huh?
Is it real? Is that an actual thing, what we're saying?
Yes, no, it is. It is
Okay.
a thing. Yeah, it is a thing. Like I said, like some people agree with cochlear implants, some agree to have speech or not, or only communicate through Auslan. For me, it's a hard topic because it is a very sensitive topic. So I think it's just hard to kind
Just
of
talk
talk.
through your own experiences. Don't
Yeah,
speak
yeah.
on behalf of other
Yeah.
people.
Okay. For me, I've found speech for me personally really helpful. Because of the life I grew up. Because when you get deafness, sometimes it can be from like genetics, and my obviously wasn't. So it's just all my family. I was involved around a hearing family. But again, that's when 2 years ago I started to learn Auslan because I wanted to really start getting involved to communicate through Auslan, with the other deaf people.
Do you find that it's age specific? Because this Deaf You show on Netflix portrays a young image of people with hard of hearing or deafness. But I would have thought that it would have been an older generation who are less accepting of others, because I just feel like, people our age are so much more normalized to being
Different
open.
and different.
Yeah.
But is it still not age dependent that this kind of weird balance or misbalance lies between the two?
See, I know that a lot of people assume that cochlear implants and hearing aids are actually for older people, which is not really at all. It's for everyone. I mean, for me, like, I've had good experience with younger ones and older ones in the deaf community. Yeah.
It's interesting because I run a music festival called Ability Fest, where it's accessible for all people, disability or not, just like Splendor or Beyond the Valley. But we have added accessibility features, and one thing we wanted to do was we have Auslan sign on every stage for every lyric, and it was so funny. He won't mind me telling this story, but a good mate of mine, Zane, who I met at a festival, he didn't tell me this when we became friends, but I went to his wedding and he's signing. I'm going, what the hell? What are you signing for? He goes, my parents are profoundly deaf. And like that, most people would come up and be like, I got disabled parents, but he kind of left it out, and we became friends first, and then he told me.
Yeah.
And he said, don't do the sign on stage. It's like
Tokenism?
Tokenistic and lame. No one will enjoy it. And I was like, really? I was like, interesting. I was like, didn't think of that. Anyway, I'm like, come to my festival. I'm going to do it anyway. And credit to him, he goes, that's effing cool. He's like, I've never seen that. And I changed my mind about it. But he warned me. He was like, go for it, bro. But deaf community can be a minefield sometimes. Some people might tell you, don't, what are you? Other people might love it. And it's interesting to, I guess, hear your side of it. But it's interesting you want to learn Auslan too, because I think you might feel a bit of that pressure or want to be inclusive of everyone in your community.
Yes, I do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because I've always, like I said, been brought up with speech only. And it was only 2 years ago I really felt like I needed to step more into the community, and that was by starting to learn Auslan.
Is that because you're in the public eye? Do you think is that why you want to be a bit of a leader in that space? Or did you always have a bit of desire?
Well, I guess I haven't really been in the public eye. 2 years ago I wasn't.
Yeah, true, of course.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
Yeah. So I just started to learn it for my own. I really just wanted to learn it myself.
Yep.
I also wonder when it comes to Auslan interpreters on stage and the tokenism of it. Every time that I've seen somebody, an interpreter on stage, they've kind of been making the faces of the aggressive music they're making, getting into it. And it seems to be able-bodied people who are sitting there going, hey, this is really cool. Whereas I wonder if that takes away from, and this is a question you might not be able to answer because it is so broad. I wonder if it takes away from the fact that it's actually there for accessibility purposes and not to make you entertained. It's so I can enjoy this experience with you, but you're sitting there going, hey, this is really cool. And it's like, cool, I'm actually getting, messages from this. So I wonder whether people could be against that Auslan because it seems like it's just entertainment for a lot of people on the side for able-bodied people. I wonder if that's, and I'm opening up, I talk about it now, not necessarily to put that to you, but for people who might be wanting to join us on the socials to clarify that a little bit more.
Yeah, coolness normalizes. So I think there is an element of that. I won't name the artists, but I work in this industry now. Big artists, I'm talking big superstar artists, global, don't like Auslan interpreters on the screen because it takes away from them. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know
So
that.
what they do is they go, you can have Auslan, but they've all got to sit in a corner and there'll be an Auslan interpreter on a mini stage, but no one else in the crowd can see it because it takes away. And I'm like, oh, I hate you.
Yeah.
Because they're limiting accessibility.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. How does that make you feel hearing something like that?
Oh, yeah. It
It'd be
makes
hard.
me angry
Yeah.
because, like, we all should be included, together, what we're, at an event, for example. But, yeah, I think Auslan interpreters are a great thing to have on stage. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. What are some of the triumphs and tribulations of being an actor who is deaf with a cochlear implant? Has there been moments that it's been beneficial for you? I mean, apart from the fact of landing a gig on Neighbours, but has there been moments where you've had to stop a scene because you've missed a cue? And is that embarrassing for you? Do you,
Mm.
you know, I'm sure there's moments that you've had to stop the set for a second because you don't understand something because
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
missed something, right?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty confident to step up if like something's not working for me. It's usually like when the set gets loud, and usually that's when it's usually the directors I'll ask to like repeat for them to repeat themselves
Ah.
because when camera's off, it's loud, But I don't know. I think I'm pretty adaptable. You know what I mean? I don't get frustrated or anything. I don't know. I'm pretty easy.
I've heard Dr. Carl's huge at discrimination. I heard he's deliberately been bullying you on set. Is that true? Can you, Susan and Dr. Carl? And racist, I heard.
You're an
But-
idiot.
No.
Daily Mail.
I
Actually,
love-
ListenABLE podcast.
What's his name? Fletcher.
Oh,
I love him.
Alan Fletcher.
Alan Fletcher.
Legend. Delivered
He's
him
a great
tre-
guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Dropped off
awesome.
a treadmill at his house when I was about 10.
Ah.
It's my dad used to sell treadmills. Sold one to
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Carl Kennedy. I was very excited.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know I was on Neighbours? Oh, sorry.
Have you ever turned down your hearing aid to benefit you? Have you ever just been in a boring lecture at school
Aeroplane. Just want to go to sleep.
Yes.
and you just
Oh,
That's what I do.
get the
great
app out,
results.
put it on one, relax?
Yeah, I remember I was going to Queensland and for my sister's wedding, and there was a baby crying. I was like,
Baby crying next
Yeah,
to
and
you
then
on
I
the
turned-
plane.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
and
the ultimate noise cancelling headphones.
so yeah, I just turn off.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You probably miss food service. A little bit of a bummer, but pros and cons.
Yeah.
What about when you go into that silence and on the app turn it down to 1 or 0?
Mhm.
Do you still hear something
Yeah, like it's just like a little
like a
volume.
humming or something like that, like an atmosphere?
It's still the same, but just like low.
Okay.
Like it's just more lower, like the volume. Like kind of like it's pretty much like on a TV. Yeah.
Terrible for the edit of the podcast, but I can see what you're doing.
The plane has landed.
Okay, so you can turn it down. That's interesting. What about with music? See, I love music. Huge music head.
Yes.
Do you get to experience music the same way that
Yes.
I do, or do you not know if you do or don't experience it the same way?
I think I do because like I always get the same beats at the same time as my hearing friends.
Yeah.
You saying you're a good dancer? I think you were.
Maybe.
A little bit of a shimmy in the shoulders there. Okay.
Just getting into the groove. I actually can Bluetooth from my phone with the music, and that's where I can hear the music much better with like the beats and
Oh
stuff.
my God, you've got like a UE boom access.
Bluetooth, yeah.
So instead of
Well, go straight
Send-
into your cochlear ear. The music.
Yeah, on my phone. So Bluetooth.
What?
It's so
that
good,
is
yeah.
sick.
So you don't have headphones that go straight to your... It's like you've got a headphone in
Yeah,
permanently.
so I don't have to wear headphones anymore.
Inbuilt speaker system. So
Yeah.
you listen to Drake's new mixtape and we'd have no idea about it.
Literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a learning, right?
It's
there.
so good. It's so good. It's like my own
That's it.
club.
You got a club in your head.
And if you go one of those silent discos, you're the only one without the headphone. Then I was like, oh, he's missing that. You're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
I'm missing
literally.
the beat, baby.
Literally. And I can do it with phone calls as well,
Oh my
So-
gosh.
which is really cool. But it's really funny because like if I'm walking
You've
down.
got no microphone to speak back
And
into
no
it, though.
headphones that are visible in your
Oh,
earpods.
Yeah. So it's so funny. I would literally just have my phone in my hand and then I'll like, just walk down the street or at a grocery shop and I'm, talking to say to mum, for example. And I swear people think like I'm on
crazy.
hardcore drugs
Yeah.
because I'm like literally just talking and they're like,
Wait,
This is amazing.
if I look in Bluetooth right now, can I hook up to your Bluetooth?
no.
Oh, you got to press the button.
It's my
for discoverable.
phone. It's my
What do you
phone.
like?
Sorry.
Just press the button. Discoverable.
Hello, Nathan. It's
Have you
me.
named?
I
Have
am
you
in your-
named your? Have you changed the name of it to My Ear Plan?
What's it called? Yeah, the-
Oh no, it's the Cochlear app.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
wow.
it's the same. So the one I said about the volume and it's the same. It's a very
Goes through
It's
there.
got heaps on it. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't be like, hello, Nathan. I'm in your head.
I do have an
No,
idea.
Dylan.
though.
No.
Nathan, go with me and tell me,
Hmm.
can you see a flaw in this plan? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Let's cheat.
We sit down in the hot seat across from Eddie.
Okay.
I'm at home. I can hear,
Or next door, whatever.
right, wherever.
Hmm.
I get the question, bang, Google, and I send it back to you in a phone call. You would get the answer would they know? Can you see any sort of flaw in this plan for us to cheat the system?
Well, we can do that,
Okay.
but it's just me and Eddie.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't able
To hear
hear
Eddie,
him.
you can't hear two things. You can only
Yes.
hear the one input.
Oh, we can't do a
Yes,
50,
Dylan.
we can't do a 50-50 split.
No, but I can read his lips.
You can lip read.
I could lip read, but
And I think
but
the
if he
the
looks
question's in front of you.
away.
The question's in front of you on a plasma screen, a little iPad
Oh,
with the options.
You can repeat what he's read to you. You can be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
which country has the biggest
oh my God,
coastline?
true.
Australia, Canada.
Should we get started on this?
That's not trivia night at the pub. We'll start there
Start
Yes.
there, see if
and
we
we'll
get
take
busted.
over.
And then we'll find Eddie on the way.
Yeah, we'll get it. Eddie works. Oh, he used to work in this building. All right, fine. Love that. Okay, there's some things that.
It's good stuff.
But this is like things that you live with and you don't understand is such a revelation for us with that implant. That is
Love it.
amazing.
Yeah, no,
Cool,
it's good.
cool. What great technology.
Yeah. It's gone really far. Like when I first got it, I had to carry it.
Yeah,
Oh, whoa, no way.
I had to carry it.
like
Yeah.
a backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in my little strap. Mum used to make straps for me and I had to carry it as a kid.
With the batteries mostly, or
The Cochlear.
Antenna, yeah,
and
the
then
whole
it'll
thing.
just
so it would be around your ear, go down into under your shirt, or
Yeah.
you'd have it over your shirt.
it depends.
Okay.
And yeah, it will have like a box on my back and I'll carry it, which felt obviously at the time very heavy, but now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's tiny.
yeah.
Now, before we get to our bowl of uncomfortable, which is where we ask something, right? I got to ask, and I love your Instagram because you're very openly proud about going on Neighbours. Like it
Yes.
meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that first day on set. Like as
Yeah.
someone with a disability, break it, and they've got a lot better at diversity,
Yes.
Neighbours and Home and Away, but they weren't great back in the day.
Mm.
It's a big step, Matt. Like what does
Yeah.
that mean to you?
I'm, it was so surreal on my first day, had to do a scene with Annie Jones and Jackie Woodburn, which was kind of scary. But,
What are their characters?
What are their character names? Sorry.
sorry, Susan Kennedy
Oh,
Yeah.
and Annie, Jane Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Superstars.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And obviously first day was so surreal because I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Because I was during COVID, so everyone had masks, but everyone was great. Everyone took their mask off when they spoke to me.
Because if you're listening to us right now and you're getting hearing, is there a moment that does lip reading for you just confirm what you're hearing?
Yes, so like when I'm listening and I'm fine, but if it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, now I'm not sure what
Like
I'm
Dylan's
hearing,
voice.
and then
I understand.
you're so mean to your friend.
Yeah, you
Oh,
are.
you have no idea
You
the
are.
one-sided conversation. that
You
happened.
are so mean to
Oh,
me.
gosh.
All I do is support you, Angus.
Oh, that's really nice because that you wouldn't have had that. So that they took down the masks.
Yeah,
Do you
they
know
did.
do you know if the set? I'm talking like grippers, cameramen,
Yes.
catering were all told prior to your arrival of your disability.
Yes. And there obviously some people, because it's such a fast-paced show, and then there would be some I would ask just to take your mask down as
Okay.
well. Yeah. But on your question though as well, I'm obviously very proud of my role. I really do hope this role really pushes and opens and breaks barriers for people with disabilities.
And even your
Yeah.
own career. Like
Yeah.
you want to go, you want to be Margot Robbie.
Definitely.
You want to be Hollywood, yeah?
Yeah.
And hopefully there's opportunities there.
You
Yeah.
probably could have gone for a better reference than Margot.
She was on
Robbie.
Neighbours.
Yeah,
And now she's like,
and so was
nominated-
I. And you could go on to host a podcast.
Very good. That was
Dream
good.
for the future.
Didn't know where you were
big
going
things.
there. I was like,
Big things. I didn't make. You know what? I didn't make the Neighbours connection. I'll be honest with you.
oh yeah, she was on Neighbours. That's right.
So was Liam Hemsworth apparently.
Yeah, but
Yawn.
Margot Robbie got nominated for an Oscar.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I get you. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Have you had in the past few months since your character's been on television? Have you had people reach out to you on socials?
Oh yeah.
Tell us some of the messages.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. I've got really awesome messages like from New Zealand and the UK. And
UK,
just like,
so big over there. Australia.
yeah,
Oh.
it's
The only
crazy.
reason Neighbours is really in production here is because it is a monster in the UK.
When I,
Yeah.
we're not begging it here, but when I was on Neighbours,
Yeah.
no one in Australia cared. Tennis players in the UK, like, oh my God, you're on Neighbours.
Mm.
And I was like,
Wow.
wow, it's such a juggernaut over there.
Yeah, no, I always get like stories from like parents about, their kids who are deaf or hard of hearing. And actually, good story. I had a teacher and she from the UK, I think. No, from Sydney, sorry, from Sydney. And she actually she works at a deaf school, and she did a subject on me and my character.
Hey,
Case study.
Yeah,
How cool is
case
that?
study. That's it.
Case
yeah.
study.
Yeah, I was like, what is it? Yeah, case study.
Yeah.
And I actually messaged her back to say to her that, like, thank you for doing that for the young kids. Yeah.
And we're only 3 months into this. Imagine what the future holds.
Yeah.
It's a beacon,
Listen,
man. That's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Bowl of uncomfortable time. Now, Nathan, I'm not sure if you listen to our podcast,
I have.
but people send us questions that they don't feel comfortable asking that person with a disability in person. They rely it through us. We are nothing but a mouthpiece for the questions. It is a bowl of uncomfortable, therefore you don't have to answer. I think we have 2. Or do you have one?
Yeah, I got one after you, though.
My one
Okay.
is,
I'm nervous.
do you think it's discrimination if they were to give the same role you're in to someone who's able-bodied under the term they're acting?
It is discriminating
Why?
Okay.
because they don't have, obviously, the lived experience of what it's like to go through being as a deaf person.
But what
then
about
what-
when people say, yeah, but they're acting, they're just playing the role, like the same way that you play any role?
Yeah, Christian Bale isn't
by
really
the way,
Batman, you know?
I fully agree with you, but I just want to hear your
Yeah,
side.
yeah. Yeah, I think, to be honest, everyone should see themselves on screen, and that should be played by the same, person.
Yep.
That's what I believe in.
But what if you were given an opportunity to act, not even about your
Disability.
deafness or
Yeah.
disability, but you get an
Mhm.
opportunity, there's an amazing role for you to play a transgender person. It's
Mhm.
going to be in a big movie, huge budget, and next to some A-list stars. We think you're perfect for the role. You've auditioned for it. You've got it.
Mhm.
What do you say?
I would say no, because it's not appropriate, because
Not true representation, is it?
yes, and I feel like if I want people to give me respect, then I have to give respect to the other communities as well.
It's a good answer, brother.
Last bowl of uncomfortable, and you don't have to answer it.
Mhm.
It's a bit of a dark one, all right?
Okay.
Toadfish Rebecca, legend or dickhead?
No, he's a legend.
Okay,
He's
okay,
hilarious.
okay, okay.
Okay.
No, he's hilarious.
I thought he lost his cred when he lost his ponytail, but he's still
Nah,
got
he
it.
looks
All
like a
right,
legend.
no
No,
worries.
he's hilarious.
All
No,
right.
he's so funny.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
and he's an actual sweetheart.
He's a legend. of a
Yeah,
boy.
he is.
Yeah.
Just, hey, we didn't ask. We got to send him in. So that's good.
that's obviously from Dylan. A big thank you to Nathan Borg, an
Thank you.
actor on the
Nate,
rise.
you were awesome, man. That
Yeah,
was
thank you.
really informative, but awesome to hear your story. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yes, thank you.
I might
Thank you,
even
guys.
tune in to Channel 11.
Channel
No,
11,
10
10
peach.
peach.
10 peach.
10
bro.
peach. That's how far out of the loop I am.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going 10 peach, baby.
Also,
Yeah.
shout out to my friend Charlotte Chimes, who's on Neighbours with you. Good friends of Chantel.
Yes.
Had to mention in the podcast, otherwise she would have been very dirty. You're my new favourite Neighbours person. Don't tell her that, but obviously.
Who's me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Don't tell
cool.
Chimesy though.
I like that.
Nathan, if people want to get you, what socials can they find you on? Grow that socials, baby.
Yes, it is Nathan_Borg.
Easy.
Pretty
BORG.
easy one.
Thank you for coming on ListenABLE.
Thank you for having me.
Listener.